Yo, so this is gonna be a deck profile, the first Magic deck profile that I've ever done, which is interesting. I'm filming it like this because my my phone got stolen and I lost my other camera as well. So I don't have a camera to film it on. I could wait until I get a new phone, but I thought I'd rather just do this now. So this is a mono blue Prism deck. It's the type of deck that I like. It kind of encapsulates why I like Magic as a game. Blue as a color actually, or at least what it used to be. Not really what it is now. But just like loads of interesting little tricks and a weird win condition that you wouldn't really see in other games. There's one proxy. I'm proxying Days Undoing because I don't have it. I'm quite sad that a lot of it is rotating out. I'd say that you know, Jace's Sanctum can be replaced. Like, you have Curious Homunculus, which isn't the same, of course, but they have similar effects, and Hydrolash is similar. You have oh, I can't remember exactly what it's called. Grips of the Royal or something. The instant that has a search cost of 2, where it's like tap down a thing and draw a card and doesn't untap. And the Prism Rings aren't all that important. They're useful, but they aren't overly important. I think that the main thing that will be like very difficult to replace, that will be rotating out when the new set, the Chandra set comes out, is Days Undoing, because there isn't really anything that is like Days Undoing or does what Days Undoing does for the deck. Just in that it's a soft reset, and it's also a way to keep the game going, because like if there isn't Days Undoing, then you just like run out of stuff. You probably deck out. So I'm not sure where the deck would go if it were to retain the same kind of win conditions and stuff, because Days Undoing is so important. My hay fever is really bad. But yeah, for now it is what it is. So let's go through it. To start, you've got 4 Prism Ring. It's pretty good. It's nice to have something to do turn 1. Like if you have this, a Days Undoing, and really like any number of islands in your hand, then it's a keepable hand. Like the broke is like 3 of these a Days Undoing, and then 3 land. You're like, oh wow, it's a broken hand. But yeah, this is good. Just life gain, helps to not die. Then you've got 4 Anticipate, which is great for digging into stuff. And the less, well, I won't even say less good, it's debatable. 3 Nagging Thoughts. I don't play 4. I dropped the 4th Nagging Thoughts for a 4th Days Undoing. I'll talk a bit more about Days Undoing, but the thing with Nagging Thoughts is like turn 2, if you have that or an Anticipate, you're probably gonna cast the Anticipate. Nagging Thoughts isn't like strictly worse. I mean, obviously there's the synergy with Pore over the pages, which is pretty much why you run it, just because you can Pore over the pages and discard Nagging Thoughts, pay the madness, and then that's pretty sweet, especially if you have a Jace's Sanctum up. But earlier on in the game, it isn't like game breaking. It's nice to have something that isn't just Anticipate. Obviously, like if you just had 4 Anticipate, then you would not have much to do and just be waiting until like turn 4, and you'd probably be too passive. It's nice to have some velocity. I think that's the that's the correct jargon for things like anticipate and nagging thoughts. But yeah, I think 3's fine. I think that you could go to 2, but I don't really see any reason to go to 2 right now. I think that that 3 is okay, and 4 is also great, but I'd rather have the 4th Days Undoing. And then 4 Looming Spires. JK. This is the Days Undoing proxy. So 4 Days Undoing. For those who don't know, I mean, I guess I should read out all the effects because it's not like you can see them from there, but Days Undoing shuffles. It's a sorcery, 2 colorless, 1 blue. Both players shuffle their hand and graveyard into their library and draw 7 cards, or draw to 7, and then your turn ends. So it's really useful, both as a means of, again, just like putting everything back into the deck, and it's also like what you'll want on turn 3 quite a lot, because you would it doesn't matter if they plus, like the fact that they're gaining stuff isn't important. What's important is that you manage to keep a decent hand size until you've managed to accumulate enough land to make your plays. Like, you have to gather quite a lot of land in this deck, but you don't really play a lot of land because you need things to do. You rely more on drawing and looking at the top card of your deck, either through like Jace's Sanctum Scrying or through cards like Anticipate and Nagging Thoughts and stuff, to both not die and to acquire enough land that you need in order to go for the game-ending plays. So Days Undoing, like, if you play a land, let's say you don't have the Prism Ring, let's say before you play the Days Undoing, you'll play 3 land and 1 card, with 2 or 3 draws, I guess, depending on whether you go first or second. Having to then like play out that where you've expended cards and playing land just in terms of like hand size, and then you have to both draw into stuff that helps you to not die and draw the land that you need in order to keep playing. To do that naturally, I guess, would be very difficult. So Days Undoing is very useful just in that, like, practically speaking, it puts your hand back to 7 on turn 3, which means that you already have your 3 islands by that point. It helps with making sure that you can continue playing land to get to the stage where you need to get. So yeah, I think that Days Undoing is very important. I know that like people run 3 because it's bad to double draw. I think that if you double draw it, it only matters if you're not activating them in any instance. Like if you have a Jace's, no, not a Jace's Sanctum. If you have a Days Undoing, if you have a Days Undoing in your hand and you're not using it, then it's a dead card. So obviously that's accentuated if you have 2 Days Undoing in your hand that you're not using. They're both going to be dead. But if you have any number of Days Undoing in your hand and you are going to use it, then it doesn't matter. Like they're just going to go back into the deck anyway. So I've like just watching games and stuff that people played. There were a lot of scenarios where I don't think that 3 Days Undoing was enough because they like really need it on the 4th turn, and they just wouldn't get it, and it would hinder them. So yeah, I think 4 Days Undoing is fine. You use it a lot. It's very important to the deck, both early in the game and late on in the game. so I'm more than happy to run 4. It just means that like your deck is kind of split between like pre-turn 3 days and post-turn 3 days. So all this stuff can be kind of lumped in together as like the early game, and then I guess days on doing is the transition into the mid game stuff, which we have more of here. So there's 4 Hydrolash, pretty cool. Just keeps you alive against more aggressive decks, and a lot of the time you'll just use it as a as a draw 1 anyway. Pretty good. Rotating out, unfortunately, but it's not the end of the world. Then I play 1 Trial of Evidence as well. So this is an enchantment from Shadows over Innistrad. 2 colorless, 1 blue. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, investigate. So the reason why I run this is mainly because like the deck is really weak to Dromoka's Command. So you need the Jace's Sanctum. The Jace's Sanctum is really important to what you do. If you're playing against something that can't get rid of the Jace's Sanctum, which admittedly is quite rare, I think, but I guess it would be more like the rampy stuff and white humans before sideboard, although that's not the best matchup anyway. Anyways, like if your Jace's Sanctum isn't gonna get removed, then you can win a lot quicker. Just because you can, even just playing 1 helps a lot. But like if you have 2 on board, then you should be well ahead. But being weak to Dromoka's Command sucks, because like you'll want to play Jace's Sanctum turn 4 a lot of the time. You will, and then if they Dromoka's Command, it's a huge blowout. You lose an insane amount of tempo in a deck that can't really afford to, and you lose your key accelerant in a deck that can't really afford to. So Trial of Evidence is nice, just as like firstly I guess like a 5th Jace's Sanctum, albeit one that isn't it isn't as good as Jace's Sanctum obviously, but like if you don't draw Jace's Sanctum, then you'll be okay with a Trial of Evidence. It's kind of like how Rise from the Tides is like a 5th part of the Waterveil. It isn't as good, but it's still useful. But Trial of Evidence also works alongside Jace's Sanctum. Like you can curve the Trial turn 3 and then Jace turn 4, and then for every instant sorcery you play, it costs 1 less. You get a Scry, and you get a clue. And you know, like the clues adding up in this deck, it can go a long way. Again, first thing that you have the Scries off of Jace's Sanctum, which increases the value of an effect like pay 2 draw 1, like pay 2 Scry 1 draw 1. It's okay. But also, you know, you leave mana face up because you play a lot of instants and sorcery, so you can get a lot of free stuff off the clues. So yeah, Trial's okay as just as just a one-off. You could play 2 if you're particularly afraid of Dromoka's Command, if that's cropping up a lot. It kind of fits like in between as like Days on Doing number 5, not in terms of what it does obviously, but just in terms of a card, a 3-drop that you will play on turn 3 most of the time, because Hydrolash isn't really for that purpose, and also as a 5th enchantment that increases the value of all of your instants and sorceries that you have in the deck. Not to the same extent as Jace's Sanctum, but yeah, it kind of fits in that nice little niche. But it's mainly just so that you don't have to fear the Dromoka's Command when you play Jace's Sanctum turn 4. So yeah, one of them, pretty good. So It's a foil as well. Ooh. Then you have for Engulf the Shore. Because it's good. Yeah, like this is a stupidly important card. Again, like from watching videos and stuff, I think that people like were really quick to play their Engulf the Shores. Engulf the Shore is part of the win condition most of the time, in my opinion, because you need to have a clear field when you do the part of the Waterveil stuff. Most of the time, well, most of the time you'll want a clear field, or else you'll just be attacking into creatures, and that's no good. So really, just like arbitrarily using them to save some life is not necessarily the best thing to do. It's often worth, when you're trying to assimilate the pieces that you'll need to win, keeping and Engulf the Shore, just so that in their turn, before you're gonna go off with the Waterveils, you can just bounce everything in their end step. Even if you take damage to face, like you don't use it in their battle phase, you just take the damage, wait for them to play another creature, and then in their end step just bounce everything. It's totally worth it. But Engulf the Shore is really good, really good, and a really important card to the deck. Again, like one of the more important ones. I think that, like, obviously part of the Waterveil is probably number one. Jace's Sanctum is probably number two, but yeah, number three I would say in Engulf the Shore, or Days Undoing. Now probably Engulf the Shore, because Engulf the Shore, again, like I think it's very important as a part of the win condition against decks that play creatures, which is pretty much all of them. Plus, obviously it helps to stay alive a lot of the time as well. So good card. And then your 4 Jace's Sanctum, because it's strong. Yeah, the Homunculus is like a mid replacement. It's different. Like a deck structured around Homunculus would be much different to a deck structured around Jace's Sanctum. Then for Pore Over the Pages, a really nice card, good draw card. You're basically paying 3 to draw 3 and discard 1, but you have to wait until turn 5, obviously, before you can use it, which is sweet design in my opinion. I think that it would be way too strong. Well, nah, I wouldn't even say way too strong, but it would be noticeably better if it were an instant. But it being a sorcery doesn't really hamper it at all. It's a great card. I could consider like one of the Scour the Laboratory, is that what it's called? The 6 mana instant, or as draw 3, but it costs 4 if you have Delirium. Because like if you had a 5 mana draw 3 instant, you'd probably play it, and with a Jace's Sanctum, that would be the Scour the Laboratory. Normally, but a 3 mana draw 3 would be insane, which you can achieve Delirium. It just conflicts with Days Undoing, as with Days Undoing you shuffle everything. But yeah, I don't, because I don't have one, and I haven't thought about it that much. Pore Over the Pages is lovely. Then your big win condition for part the Waterveil. So it's awesome. Like if you watch some footage of people using the deck on YouTube, like I think it was on like Channel Fireball's account when it first came out. there was one match where one guy was like, obviously, you know, in the early game you use like Anticipates and Nagging Thoughts to dig, and then Days on Doing every now and then, and you play your Jace's Sanctum and Pore. Like, you're just drawing into stuff. But then like, they would just cast the part of the Waterveil for 6, take an extra turn, and then do nothing, and then be like, oh, this deck does nothing. Like, this 6 effect is rarely one that you'll use, because like the exiling aspect of it hurts. It's the thing in the deck that like Days Undoing doesn't let you just rinse repeat. If you could, it would be insane, but unfortunately not. They get exiled, so you do have like 4. You have four part the Waterveils. Like, your metaphorical gun has 4 rounds in it, and it's like, okay, do I use this for 6? Which sometimes you might, but in doing so, you know, that's like, okay, well, I can't kill them with this card now, and you need to, like, generally you'll need like 2 part of the Waterveil in order to kill. That's generally how you will plan to end them, is by using the Awoken effect, buffing something up, buffing a land up, I mean, and then doing it again next turn. You can do like 30 damage, I think, with 2 part of the Waterveils, if you already have a land, and if you don't, if you have to buff up a tap land, then that's still 24 with 2 part of the Waterveils. So yeah, very strong. Like, don't just use it to take an extra turn like those people on YouTube did. Keep them in your hand generally, because like all the stuff that you're drawing is so that you can, again, like, get through the early and mid game by accumulating enough islands and staying alive. But you're doing all that so that, you know, you can just snatch a game with this or 2 of these. Good card, and doesn't rotate out, so I'll be interested to see if part the Waterveil as a win condition manages to extend past this current format, when the Kaladesh set comes out and a lot of stuff gets rotated. Then 1 Rise from the Tides, which may become the focus of this type of deck once Origins rotates out. It's kind of just like a 5th part of the Waterveil, except not as good, strictly speaking, because it clashes with Days Undoing. But, you know, you'll easily have like half a dozen instants and sorceries in grave if that's your prerogative. You can make Rise from the Tides your win con very easily, and just structure your plays around making sure that you can do that. Again, though, you will often use like a part the Waterveil alongside it, for fear of that AoE, that Languish, or that planar outburst or something. Like, it's rarely something that you're gonna do just like play a bunch of zombies tapped and then pass. You're generally going to play a bunch of zombies and then part the Waterveil to take an extra turn and then swing with all the zombies. So yeah, it's okay. It is good enough for what it is. I think it's fine as a one-off. I wouldn't run more. But it'll be interesting to see if, you know, if Rise from the Tides becomes more focused on as things change. So then for the land, I run 1 Prairie Stream and 1 Sunken Hollow, because I don't think I don't side anything that would really like that would need Sunken Hollow or Prairie Stream to be ran at more than what I'm running them at, or even for them to be ran at all. But I like running 1 of each just to you know, just for mind games. Like, they see the Sunken Hollow, they're like, oh, sides Dragon Lord Silumgar or something, or they see the Prairie stream and they'll have to think of things that I'm siding, which I guess would be like maybe Ojutai's Command or Spell Queller. Yeah, maybe they think I side Spell Queller. Maybe the 5-drop legendary that makes your lands, gives them +3 or 3+1/+1 counters on them when you cast an instant or sorcery. I can't remember what it's called. You know, it's just to confuse them really. They're just islands. That's about it. I don't side any of that stuff. So 2 of them, and then I think like 23. No, not 23. 21 islands. I think with 1 hollow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, 21 islands. So 23 land in total. Again, like with the 4 days undoing, you don't need as many land, because you know, you only really need to get to turn 3, which you can do with 23, and then you'll just be resetting it all anyway. Yeah, there's also a side, because I'm just that guy, as well as a bunch of stuff that might be useful. Yeah, one proxy in the side again. So for the side, I guess I'll do these together. Firstly, you have 4 negate, foil negates. Because negate is one of my favorite cards, but even so, it's so good. So good. Like against control decks, negate is just it's impossibly good. It's so good. Just like wrecking people when they pay just anything more than 2 to be able to cast something, and just like, you know, deal with it. Like when they pay for a planeswalker and you just negate it, or no, it's a very good card, and it's important to have counter spells for things that have black, because they can side hand removal, which is very it's very strong against you, because like this deck is very reliant on like individual cards and like having a particular set of things in your hand. So, you know, even just like 1 duress or 1 transgress can be game breaking if they snipe a pot, the Waterveil at the wrong time, or a Jace Sanctum, or anything really. So yeah, the counter magic helps with that. But negate as a card has a ton of other uses that extend way further than just being able to stop the annoying counter magic. Again, like in black-white control, it hits pretty much everything. So it's useful to have in a large number of situations against, even like against Bant. Bant and green-white, it deals with Dromoka's Command, which again is really important. And you know, for Bant, you hit Collected Company, which is strong. It's not like super important, because you have other ways of, I guess, dealing with creatures. Like you can kind of not care about what they're doing to some extent, so long as it's not killing you, because eventually you'll be able to kill them. But of course, it is nice to be able to hit company in that way. Against green-white tokens, yeah, Dromoka's Command, but also the Planeswalkers. So a ton of stuff you can do in Negate. I love the card. I love it to bits. It's one of my favorite cards. I'll be so sad when it leaves. I love it. And then 2 Invasive Surgery. I mean, Invasive Surgery is for again, like the black discard cards, because they're very strong. So they'll have generally like at most 6 copies of a discard card between Duress and Transgress the Mind. So like you have just as much counter magic to respond to their discard stuff with, if not more. Invasive Surgery is good. It's important in that like it can respond to Duress turn 1 if you're on the play, and Transgress and a turn 2 Duress, I guess, if you're on the draw, which Negate can't do. Like if you're on the draw, Negate doesn't stop any of the hand stuff, while Invasive Surgery stops all of it if you're on the play, and stops anything after you play your first island if it's on the draw. So the fact that it costs 1 is very relevant. Just like I would say in some instances, the fact that Duress costs 1 is very relevant compared to Transgress. So it has a nice little niche in this side, and you can achieve the Delirium sometimes, but you rarely will. Originally I had like 1 Invasive and 1 Dispel, but I don't really think that you need the Dispel. I would only really feel that I needed to side Dispel if there were other decks siding Negate and Dispel. Well, Negate or Dispel. I think that 4 Negate is enough compared with 4 Collected Company. But you can't go 1/1 because again Dromoka's command sucks. But yeah, Invasive Surgery is good stuff. Then this is meant to be 4 Thing in the Ice, but I don't know where my 4th one is. So 4 Thing in the Ice. The idea with not playing creatures in the main is that they'll side out a bunch of their I guess early removal, because removal is still good against mono blue to some extent, as like you'll need if you're playing against mono blue, you'll need a way to deal with the land creature as it is attacking you to death. But a lot of other stuff that will be played won't be good, so they'll side that out. Then you bring in Thing in the Ice, because Thing in the Ice is a monster that's gonna brr the whole field. Yeah, good card. Comes in pretty much every game too. Super strong. Then for other stuff, I've won Displacement Wave just as a bit more insurance against aggro decks like White Weenies and stuff like that. You can just bounce a bunch of stuff to their hand. It does conflict with Prism Rings and I mean, with the context in which I'm citing it, it doesn't conflict with Jace's Sanctum, but it could theoretically, the fact that it bounces all non-land permanents and not all creatures means that you have to think about what you're playing and whether or not it will get bounced, and thus if there's any point playing it over something else. But it's here to respond to aggressive decks, and for that it is good. Then I've won Talent of the Telepath. See, this has a couple uses. Firstly, I think that it's super strong in against say black-white control and stuff like that, because you'll mill the top 7 of their deck, and not only does that mean that you eliminate annoying stuff, if they mill any of the hand disruption, which is what you're afraid of mainly, that card is then gone, so you don't have to worry about that, but you then get to copy it, which is very, very strong. it isn't the only thing that you can copy. Like sometimes you'll copy a Languish. Or, you know, there's plenty of stuff in that deck that you might copy, like Ruinous Path if they have a Planeswalker or something. There are so many targets, and if you have the spell mastery, then whew, you know, whew, that's nuts. You can copy like a Dark Petition and like against the Seasons Past deck, or you know, there's a lot of like cute stuff that Talon of the Telepath does. It's also stupidly strong in the mirror. If you ever see that, not the milling aspect because there's Days Undoing, but like you can do it and then copy apart the Waterveil or something, or copy a Rise from the Tides. It's a cool card. Another one that'll be sad to see leaving, as it is good and I like it. Then 2 Whirler Rogue. I'm not sure if I'd side 2. Now the thing with this, again, like they'll side out removal, right? But one thing that they'll definitely side out is wide removal. They might keep in like single removal if it's useful against part the Waterveil. Like anything that just is like pop this creature, or yeah, anything like that is still going to be useful against part the Waterveil. But they aren't going to keep in like wide removal, like AoEs, like Languish and Planar Outburst or Kozilek's Return, any of that sort of stuff, because you know, obviously it's completely useless. So this is firstly nice in that like it goes wide and they won't really be expecting you to go wide, so you can just do like incremental damage with the Thopters or something, and that's pretty cool. But beyond just being like a decent card, it has an effect that is very relevant. So its second effect is tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. So you can use that firstly like tapping down your own Prism Rings for the effect, which is super strong. Like just tapping 2 Prism Rings to make something unblockable is super good. But yeah, even if you tap down the Thopters, the point is that like you can make your land unblockable, which can lead to some wins out of nowhere just because of the 2 Whirler Rogue that I decided to side. So yeah, good card. Helps with the deck's win condition, but again, it's rotating out. So what are you gonna do? And then 1 Sphinx of the Final Word. Ooh, the glare is mad. Cause a 5/5 flyer that can't be countered with flying hexproof for 7 is okay. I mean, it's not incredible. But yeah, it's also good against like control matchups. Because like black-white won't have a ton of ways to get rid of it thanks to its hexproof, and against decks where you might fear counter magic at some point, you know, having your stuff become unable to be countered is also very useful. So yeah, that is the deck. That is the mono blue prison deck. It's fun. I'm sad it's going, and hopefully there'll be another deck like it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.